coming to you straight from the grandma's basement. It's Two Nerds and a Joke with Robert and Ernie.
Thank you, disembodied hot girl voice.
Yes, thank you. I do appreciate. I think that's been the best part of my day today. Oh my God, what a crappy day today was, but it is what it is, I guess, right?
Well, you know what sayings I like to say. One of
No.
them being, some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield. And also another saying that always likes to, I like it. I think I approve of it is, why curse the darkness when you can light a candle?
Or as I always say, when you're in doubt, put a tiny ceramic turtle filled with nitroglycerin on their desk and see what happens when they shake it. That works too. And that's really lighting a candle. It's blowing things up, setting fires. You know, it's good stuff.
Nothing like recorded arson to highlight the day here.
That's the best part of the day. Yes, absolutely. All right, so today on Two Nerds and a Joke, we're going to get over our bad day. Well, my bad day anyways, and we are going to talk about lots of fun stuff, which we both enjoy talking about. Fun stuff. We have on the docket a interesting perspective of Batman versus Superman. Lex Luthor is the mastermind of the whole thing, so he's fantastic. So we're going to talk about Lex Luthor and Batman versus Superman. We're also going to talk about the trailers for the Suicide Squad, because that's fantastic. I went from don't care to nerdgasm over the 3 trailers. So we're going to talk about that. That's fantastic. But before we get into all the fun, we just want to talk about some random bullflop first. So one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to get interviews together, and we want to talk to some of our fans or some of our friends of the podcast and ask them some very important nerd questions. Ernesto, you had one of the important nerd questions you wanted to ask out there. Do you remember that one?
I'm sorry, you caught me unwrapping a Starburst when you were monologuing. I am completely unprepared.
You're always eating something.
To be fair, it is a lemon Starburst. I wonder.
Okay. Well, I like the
why?
lemon. You know what they usually give too many of? The red ones. I am not a fan of the red Starburst. I love the pink ones. I don't know what flavor that is. What is the pink? Is it pink lemonade or strawberry? That's a good flavor.
I believe pink is cherry.
No, red is cherry. That's why I don't like it. I don't like cherry. And then there's yellow, and then there's red. There's red, yellow, pink, orange, which is another decent flavor, but pink's my favorite. And then, is there another one, or is that it? I think that's it. Is there green? I want to say there's green, but I'm not sure there is.
There's no green, not in the original
right.
Starburst flavor. Now, do you like Starbursts or Now and Laters?
Ooh, no, definitely not Now and Laters. Oh my God, those things will kill you. I mean, you're literally like pulling those out of your teeth 6 days later. It's awful. Now they taste good, but I'm not dealing with that nonsense. The only things I want stuck in my teeth are not candy. Just saying.
You're just saying.
I'm just saying. So you're eating Starburst while I'm trying to talk of real important stuff, right? It's like world-changing shit over here.
World-changing?
Well, female, anyway. So you were going to ask people, or our next guest, whoever they were, which is the sexiest person in each of the DC and Marvel universes.
Oh yeah, yes. This was something that I was talking about, and also talking about with the girlfriend.
Yay.
You know, it's undeniable. These cartoons are drawn in certain ways, certain aspects, certain mannerisms, and some of them actually, they invoke some feelings every now and then. Over the years, you come to like for me early on, it was Wonder Woman.
Really? Wonder Woman?
Yeah, Wonder Woman was hot. And then she had a TV show. She was on TV, so it was like realistically hot. Then you had...
yeah, that's true. You know who's my first one was X-Men Jubilee. I liked her personality. I thought she was hot. I was only 12, 10 at the time, so it's perfectly okay. What?
Yes, as time went
Do you
on, more and
know
more
who it
female
was?
characters. What's that?
Do you know who it was? That I really got into, and I guess it's nerd of a certain genre, but Punky Brewster. You remember Punky Brewster, or is that before your time?
No. I remember Punky Brewster, but I don't remember her like really maturing. Didn't she like leave the show
No.
when she was like 12?
Well, again, I was that age when it was on. Fair enough. So as a young kid, at that point, I thought that she was attractive. As far as pure adult like stuff when I was older, it was probably God, real TV. So what are we talking about? I'm talking about the
Well,
90s. So what was on in the 90s?
well, 90s animation started getting a little bit more curvier, if you know what I mean.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Yeah.
see, I grew up in a time of like Super Friends and Hanna-Barbera. So for me, like a lot of the cartoons weren't really drawn that, provocative. I
Right.
mean, maybe not until I was
Hanna-Barbera
older.
was definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there was that girl from Thunder the Barbarian that used to ride around with him.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's before my time.
Then you probably go into Super Friends, like I said, Wonder Woman. But then you get into G.I. Joe, and then there's the Baroness.
Wait, so now you're in the hots for the villain?
Why not? I mean, the ultimate to me right now, and I know people are going to say, oh, it's because the Suicide Squad is coming out. No, I've always been a big fan of Harley Quinn.
I've been a fan of her too, though. It's not. You're not a bandwagoner. You're not a bandwagoner.
The red and black costume
yes,
to
the
me
classic.
is the best one.
Oh, she's so adorable. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, and Red Mad Love with the girl, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Yeah, we read it together. We may do a piece on that at some point, definitely.
Yeah,
that would definitely be cool.
Yeah, definitely. She, we read the book together. We actually read it out. She actually read it out loud to me, which was pretty hot. And she's not a comic book girl.
But this was up her alley.
This was like, she read it. She's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of psychological things because she like majored in psychology in school.
Right. Harley Quinn could be your hero.
Well, I hope not, because ultimately she gets all, twisted and everything, and a little psychotic.
Just a little.
But I don't.
It's
I don't
all
know.
for the love of her man. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about taking care of your man.
But then I know there's like guys out there, and I may be one of them, that will be like, I'm willing to overlook a little crazy for a little hotness.
I've dated crazy hot.
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah, I'm attracted to crazy. Well, to be fair, the crazy's attracted to me. I attract the crazy. Something like that. I don't know. But I definitely dated the crazy. But again, eventually, long term, the crazy kind of gets too crazy. And that's part of the problem.
Well, I mean, Harlequin, go figure. I mean, you see that crazy.
Yeah, that's a whole new level. But who else? I mean, there's got to be a few more. I mean, Poison Ivy, X-23 as an adult.
Catwoman.
Catwoman's hot.
But she didn't start getting drawn better until after Batman '89.
Mm.
And you can kind of pull from the Batman '66.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a couple Catwomen from that series that were pretty hot too.
No, yeah. But, all right, so you're strictly going Batman here and DC. You haven't mentioned anyone from Marvel. I've tried to even you out here a little.
All right, so Marvel going into the 90s when you started seeing more and more female characters, because I remember X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. You had Storm.
Yep.
And you had Kitty.
Oh God, yeah, but Kitty Pryde when she was in X-Men was young, really young.
Yeah.
So she wasn't.
Yeah, she was like teeny bopper, like 14, 15 or something like that.
Yeah, she was young.
And then there was Jean Grey.
I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Jean Grey.
And they weren't really drawn like when I was reading them. It was like late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
The style wasn't there. It wasn't until like I said, I hate to admit it, like after '89, when Batman '89 came out, that's when the art started to change a little bit.
Yeah. No, you're right. Again, the '90s had a lot of sex appeal to it. I think in a lot of the cartoons and a lot of the animations, and they tried to bring that over to the far and few between live action shows. But there wasn't really that many.
I would have to say the one that probably started it all, and this is going to be weird, Sailor Moon.
Oh God, you're right.
Yeah, Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. That's still as big today as it was back in the day. I mean, heck, you have to get if you get the Japanese version, the manga or whatever you want to call it from overseas, it's like $60 a season or something. It's crazy, but I mean, it's all just fantastic. I mean, and it's
Well,
a
and it's
decent
also
story too. To be
well,
fair.
it's also one of the more popular cosplays. Like
Mm-hmm.
every con I've been to with you, how many Sailor Moons do we see?
Oh yeah, Sailor Jupiter occasionally, Sailor
Yeah.
Mars and Mercury every once in a blue moon. Haha. But yeah, you definitely see a few of them, and in the last con there was an excessively large number because some of the English voiceover actresses that were playing them in the new English subtext versions were at the con, so a lot more cosplay for that. But yeah, Sailor Moon did start the trend, and it also started the trend, I think, of bringing imports in and making them mainstream. You know, it started really saying, "Oh, these can bring people, this can bring us money." You know, and then I don't remember when Pokemon first came over, but I believe it was around the same time. And then a little bit later, you had Yu-Gi-Oh! Same kind of thing, though. Really, it was an import or a game-based import. That lasted for a while. I believe even Digimon was originally um, a foreign importer based on a foreign import idea. There's a few weird ones out there too. There's this one I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of a 3D drawn cartoon, and it was based on these guys who were inside a video game. They were characters in a video game. So whenever people would portal in and play the video game, they were the characters, and they had to play all these different adventures. There's a young kid and a female and a guy. Oh, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's from back in the day, the same area. But there were a lot of. It kind of had an explosion there, and you started seeing a little again with the Sailor Moon and stuff. A little bit more sexy characters come out of it. But you know, it didn't hit into high gear in comics or otherwise really until after that, until like the late '90s, and then it started taking it up another notch, I think.
Well, to be fair, American cartoons in the 70s and 80s were kind of prudish because, the censors and everything.
Right.
But I remember as a kid, like some of the early Japanese anime, they called it Robotech here in the States, but it was really called Macross.
Mm-hmm.
The women in there, once again, drawn scantily, and they were like adult stories,
Oh yeah.
People blowing up and like people getting into relationships and love triangles and so on and so forth. Then there was
Well, a lot of
Captain.
manga did that too, though. To be fair, a lot of manga is all based on relationships and love triangles and blah 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 yada yada type of stuff. So I think those stories are historically what Japanese imports would do, but I think they just brought it to America and people were experiencing it here for the first time. So again, Americans were the prudes. Everybody else was like, yeah, let's just blow some stuff up and see what happens. Come on now, people.
Yeah, they were originally aired during prime time over there in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and over here, they were viewed as, oh, it's a cartoon, it's for kids, and then
Right.
they have to edit the crap out of it, and then it doesn't make any sense. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's the biggest problem is you edit some of that stuff out. It's like, what the hell is that about?
Yeah, and I think like the Robotech you saw here in the States was like a mixture of two totally different cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
like two different stories and everything, and they just mashed them together.
Right. Right. No, that you're probably right. I never watched it. That was your um thing.
Oh yeah, and I got like the whole series like on back in the day when DVD burners were like all the rage. That was like one of the things I searched out. Like I found somebody who had like the entire series because to get it is like outrageous.
What is it? What are you talking? A couple hundred?
For the good set, the unedited Macross set, yeah, you're talking at least $60-$80, and I just don't think it's worth it. So I just burned a copy, and I owed the guy a solid, which I ended up returning the favor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all those cartoons like Captain Harlock, there's Robotech slash Macross, I think it was called Gotcha Man.
Gotcha, man.
Gotcha Man. But over here it was called, I want to say Battle Beyond the Planets or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, very similar. Like they had to edit it because there's people dying in it, and there's a little bit of adult themes in it, so they have to edit it out, and like the cartoons ended up being really short and didn't make a lot of sense. But it was just the way they were drawn.
Hmm.
And,
Oh, what about what was her name? G from Captain Planet, the Asian chick.
I never watched Captain Planet.
Really?
By that time, I had moved on to like the serious hardcore comics. You know, I was into Dark Knight, things of that nature, when that stuff was coming out.
Oh, what about Aeon Flux? Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux, yes. Well, that was MTV Liquid Television. That's
Yes.
different.
Well, okay, but it's still animation, though, right? But they could go a little harder rated, right?
Well, because it was cable.
Okay.
They only showed it on cable, so you didn't have the same level of censorship as you would like on the regular network.
Yeah.
So like they showed it outside of prime time.
Mm-hmm.
So they were allowed to like because the whole thing about that story was she died at the end of every episode.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she dies at the end of every one of those episodes.
Wow.
But it was so coolly drawn, and you would think I don't know if it was drawn by Japanese artists or American artists.
I don't know. It was very weird.
Yeah, it was that whole Liquid Television. The other one that came on that I liked, and it was based on a comic, was the Max.
Oh God, he was weird. The giant purple dude with the big teeth, right?
Yeah, and he had like the claws coming out of his. It was a really cool idea that it was just too far ahead of its time.
Oh yeah, it was a cool
because
one. I don't remember watching a lot of it, but I remember seeing it once or twice.
Yeah, like at one moment he's like in the plains of the Serengeti. The next moment he's like dealing with childhood trauma. You know, he's like buckled in the corner like crying because his I think I don't know if it was abusive family or something like that, but like that's how he escaped reality.
Right. Oh, you know who else is a sexy female? This will take you back. April O'Neil.
The Turtles. Okay.
Yes,
they
April
drew her
O'Neil.
that way on purpose with the yellow jumpsuit. Yeah. Yes, they did. But I think they stole that that look from G.I. Joe, the Baroness. Same thing.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. I'll take you again. I didn't watch that, so I'll have to take your word for it. I wasn't a big Joe fan.
What about Thundercats?
Oh yeah, it's all about Thundercat. Rawr. No, the Thundercat girls were hot.
Yes, they were.
Right. I forgot that. You're right.
Yes.
Right out of the blue, going back to your Hanna-Barbera age, you know who's also hot?
What was that?
Betty Rubble.
Oh God, I knew you were going to go there.
Betty Rubble.
If I had to go Hanna-Barbera, I would say Thelma.
Well, okay, but that's because what's she hiding underneath the blah 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 and all that nonsense. So I don't know. That's what it all is about. Why is she hiding underneath that big sweater that she wears? Is she naked under there? I mean, what's going on? What's her and the dog doing? What's up?
There's actually a couple cosplayers that's like their go-to, and there's some of them that look really good.
Oh yeah.
Those are definitely friends of the podcast I would like.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, speaking of leopard animals, Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes.
Those are pretty hot.
Awful movie.
No, not the movie. The original cartoon. Yes.
Yes. The cartoons were good.
All right, so more modern. More modern girls in anime. Now you have your trilogy, really. You have your American Dad.
But the way they're drawn, though, it's that to me doesn't really
do anything. All right, what about Futurama? Leela.
Again.
No. It's a single eye. I know, but
Well, not even that. It's still no.
No. Doesn't do it
for
you?
That's no.
Oh, you're sad. I think it's about all the hot ones I know. You got any other hot ones?
The only ones I can think of are those ones that come on Toonami like after midnight on Saturdays.
Toonami. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, like any of them from that genre, like seriously.
Yeah, what shows are you thinking though?
The girl from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah.
Not the
Okay.
little girl, but like the older
Not the little
one.
girl. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
Kill la Kill.
Kill the Kill. Yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
The brunette, what's her name?
With the one with and her uniform or something talks or something like that, right?
I don't
It has.
remember.
It has
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. It fights for her. It gives her power or something like that. But it has its own
Wildfire?
personality. Which one?
Wildfire.
I don't remember seeing that one.
Gurren Lagann, whatever you call it. I'm probably butchering that to hell. But the redhead.
Which one?
It's from Yoko. Yoko. From Gurren Lagann, whatever you call it. She's hot
Wow.
too.
You know what? It's been a while since I watched it. Like I remember.
She carries a
Cowboy
really big
Bebop.
gun. She watches a big gun.
They all do. Haven't you noticed that? Like a lot of those, they're like, the gun is like 8 or 9 feet in length.
Well, why not? I mean, you can have a big gun.
I
still think that if the Powerpuff Girls were adults, they'd be hot.
No, they're meant to be 4-year-old girls.
I understand, but I would like
with
to see
no
them as adults.
fingers or toes or anything like that.
Okay, I'm still saying.
Oh my god.
They could be hot as adults. You just don't have any imagination.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think if you looked hard enough.
No, that's seeing something that isn't there, my friend.
Is that what that is?
That's what you're doing.
Is that what I'm doing? I don't think so. All right, so that's what we got for hot chicks. What else? Did you want to do the whole movies to see? Let's do the movies to see.
What,
old movies.
Oh, okay, all right. I want to, and this is something I want us to do.
Yes.
Maybe we could get like somebody to jump in, but I remember a lot of the movies that were out during my youth that, were kind of like floated my way through other people. One of them being the movie called Wizards.
Okay, Wizards would be good. We can do that. I've never seen it.
Wizards would be good. Vampire Hunter D.
Vampire Hunter D. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I wonder if I saw that.
Fist of the Lord of the Star.
I've heard of that. These are all really, really random movies you're naming. You know that, right?
And they're all like hand-drawn. No computer animation. These are all like hand-drawn heavy story. Ninja Scroll. And anybody out there that's seen Ninja Scroll knows that's borderline X-rated.
Ninja Scroll?
Ninja Scroll. Like that's a movie you watch.
With your hand under the covers.
it's pretty intense.
Really?
There's some scenes in there. Yes, there are.
Wow. All right, Ninja Scroll it is. We'll put that on the list. All right, Ninja Scroll. All right, well, we'll definitely watch some of those, and we'll make some commentary on them and just basically nerd out on them. That would be very awesome.
Yeah, and if anyone out there has any ideas of things that they want us to watch and give our opinion, we'd be more than happy to do that.
Absolutely. All right, so I think we did good enough for an opening intro. We're going to go into our first segment we mentioned. The first piece is going to be the trailers. We're going to talk about the trailers for Suicide Squad. I'm excited about that. And then we'll talk a little bit about Lex and his awesomeness, because I love the Lex. And I think that's good. I think we're good to go.
Harley Quinn.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about her now.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so we want to talk about something really cool. We think it's cool anyways. And I had mixed feelings on it at first, and I know Ernie did, at least a little bit. But we saw all 3 of the trailers for, drumroll, Suicide Squad. At first I wasn't thrilled. I was like, Suicide Squad, okay. I have some reservations, but we want to talk about the marketing scheme that they're doing and what we conjecture to be the story based on the 3 trailers we've seen, and really kind of how it progressed from kind of a meh to kind of a ooh, this could be interesting, this could be good. So, what are your thoughts on this, Ernie?
Well, first off, when I first saw the first trailer, I didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah.
It was very dark. It was I knew it had something to do with, I thought it was like a Gotham thing.
Sure.
Because you heard the director of Arkham,
Mm-hmm.
and she's talking about like putting together a group of villains. I put them in a hole and then threw away the hole. It was
Right.
a lot of those one-liner things, and I was like, wow, this, they're really sticking with the dark thing because Gotham's dark, Arrow's
Right.
dark,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wow, DC's really going dark with this.
Which
Now,
is kind of what they've said in the marketing. They have said that before.
Yeah, and I'm okay. I'm okay with dark.
Yeah.
As long as you're going to treat it serious. I don't want Tim Burton dark with Jack Nicholson dancing in the streets, wearing a purple suit and stuff like that.
Don't mess with that. But go on.
Hey, I'm just telling you. And let me tell you something else about that movie. The most impractical Batmobile ever. It couldn't even make a turn around a corner. Okay.
It was very long. It was a very long.
All right, it couldn't even turn.
It was a penis with wings, but going on.
So I see this trailer and I didn't know what it was until I started noticing the characters. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Deadshot.
Not real Deadshot, but Deadshot anyways.
Well, yeah, it's got Big Willie in it.
Sorry. For me, and again, I came to this first trailer and I was like, I saw Big Will and I was like, but this isn't Deadshot. This isn't Arrow Deadshot. And I've watched all the seasons of Arrow up to the 4th. I'm waiting to finish the 4th. I have to get into that one. I know it's a good one. But I was like, I've watched the build of the Suicide Squad. I've watched these characters. Some of them, not all of them, obviously, because they're not all on the TV show. But I've watched these characters. I know who they are. And I'm like, I just don't see it. I just didn't see it. So that was kind of a turnoff for me up front with this first trailer. And again, darkness, Gotham, all that good stuff. But if Harley...
Harley.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
The bright spot was Harley.
That was a blazing glory.
And they got a great actress to do it. Margot Robbie, Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Awesome pick.
Yeah, great pick there. And that was the same case for me too. I mean, it was like this might be worth watching on DVD. Let's do it on DVD. We'll wait. We'll wait. I'm not going to stress. It's okay. So that was the first trailer.
Well, and then at the end, I'm like, so what is all this building up? Who are they trying to get? Because they mentioned that Superman is bringing out all these villains.
Right.
So I'm guessing, all right, so they're taking the Man of Steel, the darkness of Man of Steel, and they're basically putting it in, I'm guessing this is Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Gotham.
Who is tearing apart Gotham?
Right.
And I'm like, is it Penguin? Is it like Two-Face? Is it any of these guys, right?
Right, the big guys.
You hear the laugh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Joker. So automatically I think of, all right, they're putting this group together to fight the Joker, and they got the Joker's ex-girlfriend.
Right. It makes sense. It's very reasonable.
But I'm making a leap.
It's a big leap. Yeah.
I did not spoil myself. I'm just going off of what the trailer is. And the reason why we didn't say any spoilers because we're talking about the trailer. The trailer's not a spoiler.
Right. True. Good point.
And that's where you have the problem with.
I did. I was like, no, guys, no. This is... And again, it's intriguing to me because I literally saw the Joker in the one scene where he's about to do harm to somebody.
We don't know who.
We don't know who. We can conjecture out the wazoo, but we don't know who. And I just was like, it doesn't feel Joker-y to me. In that first trailer, just that one scene, how he looked and his angular... It just wasn't Joker to me. I just did not feel that Joker. The mouth, the whole thing just was off for me. And it really kind of, again, turned it back to, okay, maybe I'll catch it on DVD. And that was the first trailer. And that was really, I mean, what else do you got there?
And then we had that gap, that space.
Which they do on purpose, I'm sure.
They did that space, and during that space of time, they were still, coming back to this, the actors coming out and saying, hey, look, we're catching a lot of heat from this, but, the diehard fans, the DC fans, they're going to like this. Yeah. And I didn't understand what that meant until they released a second trailer.
Bam. And then you got my interest. You piqued me from a naysayer to maybe we got something here. Again, heavy Harley. You can't go wrong with heavy Harley.
And I say why not?
Why not? Why not? Half-naked Harley the whole time with a big-ass hammer, go for it. Give her a machine gun, let her go to town. Awesome.
Baseball bat, big hammer, go with any incarnation. All you nerds out there know that Harley's hot.
Yeah, and she played the part. Deadshot, a little bit better. Again, Still Big Willie. Still kind of get to grips with that.
Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang. Okay, like Captain Boomerang.
I like Captain Boomerang.
They only had a brief little verse view of him in the Arrow, and that was it. He's there for like 2 seconds and gone. So
right, but
okay.
in this trailer, he's like reading off like what everyone does.
Right.
Meanwhile, you have Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Like hitting you hard.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
Everything is so timed to that.
Oh yeah.
Like I watched it at least. When it first dropped, I watched it 4 times.
Yeah.
Then I watched it every day at least once.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was good, and I liked it, and it was a well done trailer, and a lot of fight scenes, a lot of action, a lot of hey, we're gonna screw everybody, and it was like, yeah, okay, I can get into this. I can get into this a little bit more. And I started getting excited. I will be honest. Again, not a huge DC guy. I like DC well enough, but I'm kind of in between. DC has some benefits, Marvel has some benefits. I'm back and forth. And, Marvel has been bigger recently than DC has. DC's trying to play catch up, so I've kind of been back and forth on that.
And I have to disagree with you on playing catch up. DC's own the movies. Remember, can you think of a Marvel product in the 80s or in the 90s that did well?
Yeah, but DC was all over the place with that stuff. It was all Batman.
Yes. DC.
That's fine, but it's all Batman. They only explored one character, and they kept trying to get it right.
Wait,
and not
and
a lot of
they
those
did
movies
Superman
were good.
in the 80s.
Okay, Superman in the 80s is a whole different thing. Yes, it was DC, but it was a whole different ball of wax. The Batmans, they just kept trying to redo until they got it right. Different actors every time trying to set something out. They're all considered, to me, each individual movies and not the same story. So they had some good movies, but it's not the same thing that Marvel's doing. They're not owning the story, the universe in the same way. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, one-shot movies, they did have a lot of cellulose out there. Absolutely, not disagreeing with that. But it's different with Marvel coming in and saying, okay, we're going to create the entire universe. That's what I'm talking about. That's when the movies start to be movies with the comic characters and a universe. Whether they're going to do it right the whole way through, I don't know. They have some bumpy roads here. We're going to see how that works. DC, though, in that regard, is where they're playing catch-up. As far as owning movies in the big, broad scheme, no. Yeah, they've had more movies out than Marvel has. We know that. There was old Spider-Man stuff, too, though, to be fair. And X-Men and stuff has been out there for a bit. So, you can play catch-up that way, too. The Hulk existed way before a lot of other things.
Well, Hulk was
at least on TV show. But it still counts. It's still out there.
Yes, you're right. I'll give you that. I'll give you Hulk. I like the show.
Yeah, I mean, in the comics and the cartoons. I mean, the
Wonder
cartoons
Woman.
too. Yeah, Wonder Woman. Yep.
Yeah.
But she was a weak character, sadly. She could have been much more.
The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
Oh God, don't no.
I'm just saying it's DC property.
Ew. Yeah, I understand, but don't. That doesn't count.
You didn't like Dean Cain?
No.
You're
that was
anti
awful.
Dean Cain.
I am anti Dean Cain.
Terry Hatcher?
Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit of that Terry Hatcher, but she's so whiny. It's like, God, Lois, get a backbone. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Okay.
The third trailer. Let's get back on point. Third trailer, nail in the nerd coffin, if you will. OMG.
They got you on that one.
Oh, well, they totally did. The Technicolors, the laughing logo with it turning. The Joker scenes were Joker. And again, one bad scene can turn you, but the scenes they showed here with his little catchphrases and little stuff, I can see the Joker coming through there. I can see the real Joker. And more Harley.
Plus more Harley. Plus
what?
They teased it.
Teased what?
Batman.
Oh, of course. Which is hilarious, because if you watch the second trailer and then the third trailer, in one trailer he's clinging to the back like nobody's business. In the second one, he's nowhere to be seen.
Yep.
They bring him in on the third trailer, and it's like, same universe. You bastards are going to get us. And I love it. The Technicolor, the schemes, the background, the little dead skulls that are pretty kind of thing. And I will say, El Diablo, pretty sweet.
Yeah. This episode, he definitely did it. I mean, him and Big Willie going at it.
Yeah. I tell you what. And again, warming up a little bit to Big Willie, we're going to see. Not a fan of the version of Killer Croc they brought up. Kind of meh. I'm a classic from the comics. He's just not massive. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to turn him away, but we'll see. The meta-human concept, obviously the larger universe, how much of that are they going to bring in? Are they going to bring in any of that? Arrow was a part of the Suicide Squad in some ways. He fought them. He knows these characters. He has connections. Are they going to bring Arrow in for this? Are they not? Are they going to kind of pull the TV show through or not? We don't know. Those are big questions that I'd love to see, but we have to see. Are they going to do another trailer? That's the big thing now.
Do you? But here's the thing.
Do they need to?
Yeah. Do you really need to? No. I would
No.
stop here.
Yeah, I mean, if they stop here, I think they're good. If they get anything else, they'll do another. And again, I hate to bring it back up again, but B versus S, they overkilled themselves with those trailers. They really gave too much away. You want to give enough to get the interest, but you don't want to go overboard with it. So, definitely turned me from a meh to a ooh, I want this.
Well, keep in mind this, and this is how I will defend their way of thought, is that you had the first trailer come out for BVS, and it was somewhat religious. If you remember that one, it was like, oh my gosh, like there's Superman. He's like hovering over the, the house,
crowds,
and people reaching for him, and there's Batfleck, he's mad as hell, and it's like. And my parents didn't understand. They were like, why are they fighting? Aren't they friends? Yeah. They didn't understand it. So they had to release the second trailer to answer that, because that's what everyone said. They were like, you know what, that first trailer was really cool. We can't wait to see it. Yeah. Why are they fighting? So they released a second trailer, but like you said, they had to give a lot of the movie away in it. And then, of course, the second movie, if you give away the plot, you have to say, oh, by the way, Wonder Woman's in this movie.
Right. And that's just and fantastic, and people were very excited because there's a lot, and there's petitions out there for Wonder Woman to get her own movie, and there's really a lot of conversation about that they want a strong female character. It's an untapped market in the nerd world. Bring her in, make her strong, make her powerful, and they nailed her. That's the best part of that, but that's a whole other topic.
So then when they released a third trailer to fix the errors of the second trailer, the third trailer was kind of like, all right, you got me back. I am super hyped to see BVS the first week it opens, and that's what I did. Yeah, and I think if they stop here, they might go with one more, teaser.
Sure, something.
Pull out another 70s, like, iconic song, you know what I mean?
Sure, go for it.
I mean, they pulled out Ballroom Blitz. I mean, seriously. Ballroom Blitz.
Random choice, but it fit. It worked.
I could have gone another 15, 20 years, and I would have been okay. But now that I heard Ballroom Blitz, I have to listen to it on the regular now.
That's a great part. And again, yeah, maybe a teaser trailer, maybe something else, maybe some posters would be nice. I haven't seen the posters yet. I know they're out there.
I've only seen one poster and it's very blasé. It's like pink and purple flames, and it says Suicide Squad, like written in that weird font.
I'd love them to do some cool posters. Don't know that they are or not, but they can just leave it as is and just let the drama build from this, and that's cool.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
So we're definitely going to be looking forward to it. We're definitely going opening night, or at least opening weekend, if not opening night. Yeah. We're going to definitely try and do some podcasting live in before and after. Heavy on the spoilers, but we got to get it out there, post it up. Don't forget, of course, YouTube. We are posting lots of stuff up there as far as podcast moments and other things. So don't forget to look there as well for our stuff.
And also a question I want to throw out there to the fans, like when you think about the DC villainesses.
Yes. Hot group.
Who's up there? I mean, really, they're all really good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Poison Ivy.
That's who I was just going to go for, is a Poison Ivy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and Mad Love.
Yes, we're going to do that.
We're going to do that.
Yes.
Best book, I think, of explaining the whole. And I think that set the tone for what we're looking at now. Is that book?
I hope so. I really hope you're right, and they really bring that to the screen. Love to see that. Just don't make Harley ditzy. Make her psycho, make her crazy, make her hot, but don't make her ditzy. Make her a smart criminal, because that's who she should be. Right.
I kind of see her that way, and that was. Like,
I hope so.
Because you figure Wonder Woman was hot.
Yes.
Poison Ivy hot.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman, oh dear God.
Depending on the variant, there's a few Catwomen that are a little sketchy.
Yeah. But then when you look at them all, I mean, they're all like really good looking. I'm just wondering if the crowd out there will throw out some names, and we'll talk about it on the next podcast. Like,
absolutely.
Of like ones that you look at them, you're like, wow. If I saw this in real life, I probably would not be able to contain myself.
But you can contain yourself anyway, so.
Well, for me, it's Harley.
Hey, you're Harley diehard. That's all well and good.
Dear God.
All right, that's all for the trailers. We're going to talk about some other stuff and move into some other topics.
Versus.
We both just saw Batman versus Superman, or BVS, if you will, kind of like the underwear, but not. And we're going to talk about one of the points. And Ernie, I know you've seen a lot of negative press. 69% decrease, all the bad news. It's all been out there, right?
Yes, and I am the type of consumer and the type of movie watcher that I have to watch a movie for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the bad press, because I actually saw it before you in the theater,
Yes.
The Friday it opened.
Right.
I didn't see it opening night. I saw it the Friday that it opened.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I went in there with a clean slate. I was all in because I am a DC person. I'm a DC person first and foremost. First hero I ever followed was Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. The whole Super Friends, Justice League. I was in and all that. So
right.
My stuff goes way back.
Oh yeah, and you've seen all the versions and the variations. So Ernie's an expert DC. We got it, but he came in clean. That's good. That's a good way to go.
Yeah.
Me, I am a baggage kind of guy. I just am. I like bringing the stories that I know with me. I like seeing how they compare, conjecture, all that good stuff. I like bringing all that to me. So it's a good thing. We both, me and Ernie are both nerds, but we take very different views on some stuff, just because of whatever, our own personal baggage. So with that preface, with Batman versus Superman, so many things to talk about. And it's like, okay, so what are you going to do versus on? Are you going to do versus the comics versus? No. We're not going to get outside the movie. We're going to stick inside the movie. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a moment and take sides on Lex. Now, my opinion, of course, on Lex is going to be that Lex...
Oh, first and foremost,
yes.
Spoilers.
Oh, tons, millions, kabillions of spoilers. The whole thing is spoilers. Every word we say is spoilers today. Absolutely. So, Lex Luthor in the movie, controversial figure, obviously very much the plot driver, as most villains are in these types of superhero movies. But the real question is, and the versus today is going to be very simply, was his plot good or bad? And if so, why? Why was it good? Why was it bad, right? So, obviously with our verses, we're just going to go through the argument points from each side. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to reach a conclusion if there's one to be reached. Or most of the time it just ends in a draw, which is fine too. We're good with that. So, Ernie, I'm going to give you first blood here, if you will. And let's give an opening statement to our sides on this versus.
So, my volley into this is so much the fact that me going in with a clean slate and watching the movie for what it was, which is purely entertainment. I wasn't going in with very high expectations. I know that's awful, but I was very excited to see the movie. As I got through the movie, trying to figure it out, my mind kind of works in a way where the movie has to make some sort of sense. The villain has to make some sort of sense. And it looks like the villain in this is going to be Lex Luthor, played by Jesse Eisenberg, I believe his name is, which was an interesting choice. And the way he played it, and everyone kind of knocked him from the trailers, basically saying, this is the best Joker we've ever seen, but it's really Lex Luthor. And so I guess a lot of people, a lot of the critics, a lot of the, more important Hollywood types were kind of like already going into it with this preconceived notion that, he's going to be the, American Ultra of this movie or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it that way. I basically waited for the development of Lex, and at first I was like, okay, I can kind of see this. They're setting up Lex as being the spoiled brat. He has daddy issues. He basically makes sure the distinction that, hey, the Lex that's on the front, that's my father, that's not me. Oh, do you like this room? My father made this room. Should I make changes to it? It was kind of like a lot of he was all over the place, and to me, the end result of his plan through this whole movie was to get these two to fight, supposedly. And supposedly, he wanted Superman to lose. And I guess when he saw that there was no way Batman could kill Superman, because we should all know, I mean, that's the first thing that pops in your head. If they were to go toe-to-toe, there's no way Batman is going to beat Superman in a fair, straight-up fight.
No.
So he'd have to come with some sort of, ace up his sleeve or some sort of ingenuity.
Which is, of course, the whole point.
And I just don't understand what Lex did from the outset of the movie to the time that they foiled his plan. I just don't see the actions that he took. How would he get the results that he wanted given what he did? It just didn't make sense to me. Like, and not going in there with like the old Lex Luthor, the old real estate plot schemer, or if you even go into the comics, the scientific mind game Lex Luthor. This was like this. It just didn't make sense to me. And then at the end, of course, they paid homage. They shaved his head and they made him batshit crazy.
Yeah, and again, I don't disagree that one point on the fact that they did make him a little bit crazier than normally is in the other variations. But if you're coming in clean, you can't compare him to the old versions of Lex. You have to take him as he is in the movie. So, given that, yes, he is crazy, but he has a lot of things going on, and I think one of the things that articulates his kind of awkwardness is when he's trying to do the speech at the charity event, right? All over the place with that. I mean, literally all over the place. He's unsure of himself. He's not confident. He's not a confident person. Why? Why is he unfortunate, so unfortunate in front of an audience? And that's really the crux here of his character, is that he's unsure of what he wants, but he wants it all. He just doesn't know how to get there. So he's all over the place with it. And, he's the mastermind in the movie from the very beginning. He believes that he can make Batman hate Superman so much. In that,
but that's where I have to stop you.
Okay.
He didn't have to do much to get Batman to hate him.
Correct,
I mean,
and
that's
he
how
knew
the movie
that.
started off.
But that's the point.
And the whole point is that Lex could have never possibly have known that Batman hated Superman. You don't get that. You can't infer it. It's not even said in the movie.
Well, hold on, because yes, it can. Because if you remember, when the bills were sent back from the employee that said, here's the events, here's what happened. That's public knowledge that building was collapsed, that it was a Wayne building, that people from the Wayne Industries died. If Lex Luthor, which he seems to know up front, knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne, then he would know that the Wayne building was destroyed. He knew that. In his mind, he was going to play that angle, which is why he got involved with that employee who lost his legs in that incident, which is also public knowledge, to play off the Batman.
That was after.
Correct, but
that was after.
But everybody would know that the Wayne Manor, the Wayne building was destroyed in the fight with Superman. Everybody would know that because it's public knowledge. Everybody blamed Superman for that. So Lex he made a leap and said, okay, if Bruce Wayne is Batman, there's got to be some resentment there that his building and his people were hurt.
But then you have to make the leap that Lex thinks that Bruce Wayne cares about his people.
Well, yeah. I mean, but any businessman would at least give a hoot. If
you're making a big leap here. You're making a big leap here. The Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne, what you saw, it looks like he cared about this one guy in the building. Am I correct?
Okay. Maybe. Again, I really feel that one of the biggest things about Lex Luthor in this movie, in my opinion, and that's a big thing, why is it that he doesn't think small? Lex Luthor thinks big. And that's kind of the things that makes it interesting. So Lex Luthor is looking big picture. Now, here's the question we have to ask ourselves about this and his plot and why he wants Batman to kill Superman, or vice versa. I don't think he ever really cared which one killed which is why he was bringing about Doomsday into this whole thing. Because you have to think that his goal is to destroy all of them. Now, the crazy part of Lex Luthor comes into play where he lets loose Doomsday. You let loose Doomsday, you're never going to get him back in the cage. So that's kind of the crazy part that I feel. He knows, and Batman finds out very quickly, that Lex Luthor has been keeping track on all these metahumans. So obviously he's been keeping track on Batman as well and kind of knows his history. So he's coming from a place of knowledge. Lots of technology, lots of money from Lex Luthor. He has the information already there. So you got to give, based on that and what we see in the movie of that there has to be knowledge there because he's using it. So, if that's the case, then the real question is if Lex Luthor knows that Batman and Wayne are the same, and he's going to try and play. Now remember, he's going to try and play, but he has other contingencies. If the Batman angle didn't work, he had Doomsday. He had a backup plan. So if he could get Batman to hate Superman, because if he could push him to believe that Superman caused Batman's building to be destroyed, who was Bruce Wayne, and that one employee, because they knew and he knew that employee was getting checks from Bruce Wayne. So that right there shows, okay, Bruce does care about his people. So with that, he used that to twist it.
Oh, no.
Because
no.
it was
no,
Lex
no,
Luthor's.
no.
Lex Luthor said.
You're reaching now.
No. Because Lex Luthor said in the movie that he was the one who wrote on the check, "It killed my family," because he knew of Batman's past. At least enough by that one statement to say he was hoping to twist Batman or Bruce Wayne, who he knew were the same person.
Wait. He knew that Bruce Wayne. That's public knowledge in Gotham.
Yes.
Because the Wayne family was like the biggest name in Gotham.
Right.
So when his parents got shot, of course everybody remembers that. And
Right.
of course, Bruce being Bruce, he's the playboy eccentric. He goes to these parties. I'm sure he's probably said a few times that both his parents are dead and he lives up there. And keep in mind, the setting of this is off of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy,
Right.
which is 20 years after Bane. And the only reason why I know it's 20 years is because it's actually said in the movie.
Correct.
It's been 20 years. How many good men are left, Alfred?
Absolutely. No, and I agreed. I totally agree on that point too. But you're proving the point though. If I'm Lex Luthor and I know that Batman cares, that Wayne is Batman. First off, you have to establish that.
You're making the leap there that he
not
knows
a
that
leap. He already knew it. He said it in the movie. Lex kept saying Batman is Bruce Wayne. He knew it. I don't know how he knew it. They never explain how he knows it,
Right.
but he seems to know that from the beginning.
At the end, he did fess up and he called them by their normal names. He said Bruce and he called the other one Clark.
Yeah. So either he figured it out in the moment at the actual charity event, or he knew all along. Either way, he knew.
No. I'm saying you're making the leap that he knew way in advance.
Even if he didn't know way in advance, even if he knew at the charity, he would have started the plot there and said, okay, if Bruce Wayne is Batman, and I know his family died because that's public knowledge, and I know that his building collapsed and there were victims, let me find out who these victims are. Easy search.
Well, that was easy. He was, all he had to do was go to the protests when they were doing the government hearings.
Right. Exactly. So now, if you're trying to make Batman, really want to kill Superman versus just dislike him.
But here's the thing. Here's what you did. Here's what he did. He got the guy with his legs cut off, right?
Yes.
Who had the crappy wheelchair.
Yes.
He gave him the fancy wheelchair, which apparently was made out of super explosives.
Right. Which is Lex Luthor's style.
So he puts him in the courtroom to basically kill everyone, knowing that Superman's going to survive the blast.
Is Superman involved? Implication, that's it, but it's enough at this point.
But that's just it. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay, then the whole Africa thing doesn't make sense either. Why are they blaming Superman for the Africa incident either?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. And of course, they killed off Jimmy Olsen in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Didn't like that. That's another thing.
That's a whole other thing. Okay,
yeah.
But stay focused here on the verses though. Did his plan make sense given the situation?
And keep in mind, that was part of Lex's plan, was that Africa thing, was to get him into Africa, which I still don't understand that part of it.
I don't understand why, but again, if you're going with the concept that he's trying to make Superman human, and he says it, I want to bring the gods back down to Earth, that humans can beat the gods. That's his first thing. Now, again, is he sane? No, but the plot does fall out. It pans out up to the point where he says, you're just as human as the rest of us, even if you think you're a god. He thinks the same way Batman does, except he's willing to use other people against Superman versus getting his hands dirty himself. This is where Batman comes in. Now, if the plot had worked, Superman would have been killed by Batman in that one moment, and Doomsday would have killed Batman very easily. Now, again, killed his biggest enemies, if you will. That only left Wonder Woman if the plan actually worked.
But is Batman even looking at Lex for all this? No, he's not.
Well, which is a flaw in the character and the writing, not in Lex's plan. Because yes, Batman should have been looking closer.
because the plan doesn't make sense. That's what I'm trying to say.
The plan makes sense. The characters and how they reacted to the
Because
plan
it would have
don't
worked
make
better
sense.
if Lex would have reached out to Batman and said, "Hey, Batman, I have this huge hunk of kryptonite that you could make into, like, I don't know, a 50 caliber bullet and shoot him from a mile and a half away."
No, but he didn't want to get
Instead,
involved directly. What did he do? He put it in a very obvious thing that Batman was already looking at, and that whole thing of the white Russian or white Argentinian, whatever it was,
white Portuguese.
Portuguese, ridiculous. But
Ridiculous.
he made
Google
it,
search.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But he didn't want Batman to just have it. He made sure that Batman was going to steal the kryptonite from his stuff, which is why he made it so obvious as to how he was transporting it once you figured out the one clue. You only need one clue to find that out. If you're really going to transport that, why would you transport it in a huge fleet of trucks with a huge entourage? You do it very quietly and under the board. No, he wanted Batman to find that kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted him to use it, but he didn't want Batman to think that Lex was actually letting him find it. He let him find it by accident. Who else would do it that way? Who else would transport kryptonite via this massive truck with all these... You know Batman runs at night. You would know to avoid him. Everything was around those docks. He kept saying, all these people around these docks, what are they selling on these docks? It's all about the docks. So Lex was leaving him all these flags. Now, Batman, again, this is an inference, but my thought is that Batman was so pissed off that he wasn't thinking clearly to do his research to the best of his ability. That's my thinking, but that's just hearsay. That's no proof in the movie to that point.
Yeah, you're making the leap.
You're right. I'm making the leap about Batman's character, not about the plot. The plot still, for Lex Luthor's plot, still functioned within the story. Now, his end game is suspect. Lex's end game is suspect. But up to the point of Martha, the one word that changes the movie forever, his plot makes sense. Now, what's his end game? Couldn't tell you, because once, what is his end game for destroying or getting rid of Doomsday? Now, if Doomsday's only goal is he's so insane that all he wants to do is just kill Superman and then he just disappears into the sunset? I don't think so. How are you going to get rid of Doomsday? What's his plot for that? He just created a god that doesn't even listen to him. That part doesn't make sense. But up until that point, it makes clear sense of what he's trying to do, what point he's trying to prove. But he still has what? A psychopathic outlook. He's a villain. He's not supposed to always make 100%. It's like looking at Austin Powers and saying, taking over the world through lasers with shark in their heads makes sense. He's a villain. It's not going to make sense. Otherwise, villains would win. So that's my point.
I don't know. I just don't think you've convinced me.
I hear you. Well, that's the magic of verses. It gives a lot of people a lot of things to think about. There are a lot of plot holes, that we definitely both agree to, that it could have been done better. There's a lot of gaping holes that just don't make sense. Lex is a social climbing character. He's a character that hates God or the concept of God, and he wants to be God. But again, the Doomsday piece was just kind of out of the blue and is in my mind his silver bullet. But the only piece that we don't know for sure that may have been a driver for all of this chaos is if the big bad guy behind the scenes was controlling Lex all along. And that's where the conflict came in. We don't know. We'll have to find out in the next movie.
Yeah, because we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
All right, so that's it for Versus for this week. We're going to move on to other topics, but thank you for listening for Versus, and off to the next. God, I must admit that was fun. Ernie, do you think that was fun? Because I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good episode, right? I think we did well. Yeah. I think we won't lose too many listeners this time, unlike the rest of them.
No, we're going to add more.
That's the goal.
We're going to grow this nerdom up.
Yes, and we have big things coming up, episode 3, 4, 5, 6, and on. We're getting closer and closer to the big day of Con. We're going to do our real big launch. Hopefully we have thousands of listeners by the time we go to Con, so they'll be literally waiting to come and see us. Obviously, all the same sites as before. We've got Twitter account, Two Nerds and a Joke for all of them. We've got Pinterest, we've got Instagram, we got Facebook page finally up that's going to link every time we launch anything to everything else. We do random postings all across. Send your comments, send your show ideas to them. Also, Two Nerds Joke at gmail.com if you have any questions, concerns, or if you want to give us show ideas. And again, negative feedback is always welcome, but we already know it, so you're just preaching to the choir and we're not going to change because of you. So, with that being said, I'm out. Ernie, anything to add?
No, just like always, you shouldn't curse the darkness. Light a candle.
There's always at least one candle somewhere that you can light and use it to burn someone. It's awesome.
Oh, gosh.
Till next time, guys. Till next time.
Peace out, everyone.